Hey, welcome back. This guy again. I love this one. He makes me laugh a lot.
Ah, Mr. Deviewer, what a happy coincidence. Tezuka too, of course.
He nods courteously to Rin, who does not acknowledge him back. Then turns to me, because obviously it's me who had some business with.
There's something I forgot to mention on Monday.
I nod and wait impassively because I can't even begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of the handle delving deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about the interruption either.
It's about your medication. Have you taken the 2 AA battery with you, as I suggested? It's very important for the car boosting thing. Since you haven't been that long on your current medication, there might be some unexpected side effects which might require some adjusting dosage or even changing to another kind of medication. So, we will do a few tests regularly, but what I want is for you to keep an eye on your watch and your heart, and make sure your watch has a battery in it, because otherwise it's pointless. Everything in your condition that feels off, if you get what I mean. If you have a boner and it doesn't have a battery in it, you need to come see me as soon as possible. Nausea, headache, lack of battery, anything, come see me if something happens.
Alright.
So, how are you? Everything's fine?
I give up and drop the can to the floor before answering. Apparently this takes longer than my biceps can handle. I'm about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realize how often I've done that lately. Other people have asked me that too. Teachers and students here, my parents, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospitals. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's natural for a hospital, but not so much for a school. Except this school. This is a small school, and both the student base and the faculty seem to be very tightly knit. At least, that's the feeling I'm getting. And this is not the kind of school that gets transfer students too often. The thought sends shivers up my spine, but I give a generic answer anyway. What? What do you mean wrong, character?
It's great! Also, one other thing. Masus, tell me that you've been at neither the school track nor even the pool, as I suggest. No under swimming pool. Above swimming is still fine. But I'd like to know if you have taken up exercising as I asked.
Of course I haven't, but his way of inquiring gave me the feeling that I shouldn't have been running off my ass on the track since the very first day. You have people spying on me?
Not as such, I just happen to know a few people that owns battery shop. But that's not the issue here, so don't try to slip out of it.
Well, I was actually just doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I pick up and lift the can up and down a few times, like some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's weighing down on my arm painfully. A stupid grin disappears from his face for a second and comes back like it was never gone.
Tezuka, would you give us a second? Clearly, you can't do reps with him, so please move along.
You made fun of the fact she has no arm. The nurse grabs me by the shoulder without waiting for Ren's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you're still on your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down so hard on you is that habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it'll be. It's the same with everything, like dieting. Can you promise me to be more serious about this from now on?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I promise, definitely. He studied me for a second, and then shrugs, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy, who probably has no qualms offering consultation, because this person doesn't have a battery shop to you, but if you want to jog a bit...
Consultation.
See you around.
He leaves with a wave of his hands and no answer. and I walk to Rin, who has been waiting, idly, leaning against the hallway wall and staring at the pale lighting fixture in the ceiling. And that's my cue for water. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off them.
Are you getting medication for your heart, Tingy?
Were you listening? It comes out more accusatory than I intended, accidentally lashing out on her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's none of her business. The nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidentiality too, talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? I look at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty. But Rin is just staring past my shoulder, quizzically, her head tilted like a bird. Sorry, voice cracking up. I don't know why. This is so hard for me. It feels like there's some inexplicable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, therefore my heart.
Will they make you better?
No, not really. They just make me a little less worse. Rin keeps looking at me for a while longer, and she neither says anything further nor display any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to all this. At the hospital, it was easy, but I still haven't stored my feelings about having to live a normal life with this disability. We leave the main building and Rin leads us onwards towards the dorm. We stop at the small patch of greenery in front of the dorm building. The dorm built on a slightly elevated ground with a wall and a few trees that everyone has to circle around every time they come and go. It's probably the only inconvenient design in the school. The entire wall is made of the same kind of bricks, as the building itself has been covered with some sort of painting. That's gravity, bro.
Is that? That is a freaking meme face. That's the poker face
Meme thing, mabob. Anyway, most of it is still mere sketches, quick lines drawn. You know what? I can check it. See? Right here. This fucker. Alright, let's get back. Most of it is still mere sketches, quick line drawn with a black and white against the grey plastering that cover almost the entire length of the wall, but some places look a bit more finished. There are human faces, and legs, and hands. I can't quite say what the painting as a whole might portray. Funny. Stacks of what seems to be paint cans are arranged and piled on the ground beside the wall.
See? The left side is hardly off the ground yet. It's because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday, so I gave up and went to meditate instead. And it was suddenly morning. I have to work on it, but the guys from art class are helping with the negative space and base surfaces whenever, which is a problem. It's easier to paint big area if there are a lot of people with hands.
Their reach is better and it's faster too.
She goes on a tangent of tangent, waving her little with her arms or whatever if there is actually to demonstrate, even though I got the point already. The white cotton of her sleeve flaps around and makes me think it could look sadder than it does. But it makes me feel out of place, like almost every tangible reminder of the student base's special properties has in the past few days. This girl doesn't notice my dreary feeling, of course, or the fact that she lost me a while ago already, and just keep on blabbering.
So that's why I'm trying to figure out if there's something I need to figure out, and then figure that out before it's too late and all hope is lost.
Why would all hope be lost?
Because paint has to be painted, and then it has to dry, and then it has to be painted over with another kind of paint. It takes time.
I've made her slutty because she sounds slutty. I have no excuses, but that's how it's gonna roll. She finally stops, apparently thinking she made some kind of statement that makes sense. I think it's best to start from the top. So, this is your project. You did this.
Yes, yes,
All of it.
yes.
Nice, but I stumble with my words, suddenly feeling like I've walked straight into a minefield of political incorrectness.
It's okay, you can say it, I probably won't get mad.
I blush really hard. I don't really know what would be the right thing to say, if any. It feels that I'm way more sensitive than Rin is, though. This is really awkward.
Don't you wanna ask?
How do you paint without your hands?
See, I'm an easy person to talk to, right? With my feet.
Sorry. I almost guessed that already, but isn't that hard to do?
You're good at guessing. Anyway, I don't think it is, but maybe I'm used to it by now.
I can't get my mind around the fact that she could be an artist, but seeing how adept she was using her feet to eat, I figure painting might not be a problem either. Neither of us has anything more to add to the subject.
The afternoon light works pretty well. I was afraid it would look too flat, like my chest, but it's not like that after all. I think it's actually pretty interesting. I wanted to see what it looks like in a dim light. Do you think it's flat, my chest?
Well, painting tends to be flat.
No, not like that flat, flat. Like some people are. No substance, no meat, where there should be some meat.
I know a few girls who... Okay, I get it. I couldn't really tell. I think I can scroll back up. Let me check. I know a few girls... Wait.
I know a few girls who...
Can I go next? Can I go next? Okay, I get it. I couldn't really tell. I'm not that good with art. I can't name many artist or artistic terms, so I don't really have anything to say. Rin shrugs her shoulders at that, saying, "Suit yourself," without saying it, and looks up at the sky as if trying to look for something up there.
I didn't think I'd get any actual work done, but if you give me a hand with the paints, I could do a little before it's too dark. Wink wink. I wanted to get a halogen lamp like the one they have on the sports track, but there aren't any.
Rin sure is quick to recruit my help, as was Shizune. It really makes me feel that the festival is such a big project that every pair of a hand...
Oh, bro, that's uncalled for.
Why not? I'm not really sure if I can be of any help, though.
It's just mixing some paints. You can't do that? Probably. Do you have a motor control problem? Like, those people who have some blue pills? Cerebral palsy, maybe?
Not that I know of.
I get it. Heart thingy has nothing to do with that. Kinky.
She gave me a sly look for no reason. No, it doesn't.
Let's do it then.
So she sits on an empty wooden box and very naturally picks up a white brush between the toes of her bare right foot. Let's call it a brush, yeah, let's call it a brush. I open a few of the cans and pour some contrast of the content into shallow bowls for mixing. The thick paints flow lazily from the can onto the bowl like syrup. I mix them, creating funny, hypnotic-looking swirl patterns that melt quickly into each other to form a new monotone hue. Rin sets to work, every now and then asking for a hand with something or the other. Sorry, let me get some water first. I don't know if you like it, but I'm nailing that slutty voice, so I'm definitely keeping that. Finding different brushes is easy enough, but mixing the paints to be the exact tone this girl is apparently seeing in her head is a frustrating ordeal. She wants precision down to the last millimeter before she is satisfied, but her instructions are obscure at best. Oh my god, this is ugly.
Had half a splash of green.
I crouch down to pick up the can of bright green.
The other green. This green. Ah, yeah.
I carefully pour some of that green paint into the mixing bowl.
No, that's almost a whole splash. More white. Oh, more right. Oh, more white. Is green a good color to have?
No idea. You're the artist here. A hint of smile appears in the corner of her mouth.
Do you lack an opinion? I like a submissive guy.
No, it's just I have no idea.
It's okay if it's your first time. I'm good at it because I just got an idea. Had more white.
With this exclamation, I pour a minuscule amount of white into the bowl and mix it. It looks slightly whiter.
That's not good. It has to be like the color when you wake up and you know that you saw the meaning of life in your dream but you can't remember it. Maybe it's yellow.
Despite the impossibility of mixing a color like change of season or any other nonsense that's being imposed on me, I find myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. Everyone likes their first time, even though it doesn't last long. Seeing a painting being bore on the plastered wall feels like magic. I spend the moments I have between mixing paints crouching down on the paving and just looking at her work. It feels slightly intrusive at first, like breaking some imaginary intimacy, but Ren doesn't seem to mind the least bit. Maybe it's just in my head. Her entire presence emits a completely different air, so she patiently works the detail, adding layers of paint on top of another layers of paint, steadily moving her foot across the wall to add new shapes. When I manage to produce a passable mixture of paint, that rare smile on her face is oddly rewarding. Apart from the few words when discussing paint mixes, neither of us say a word for the longest time, and even those short discussions soon evolve into a shorthand, both of us developing and using weird impromptu code words for various paints in use, as if there was some need to conserve words and breathe and sound. And it's nighttime in the city. We stay there late into the evening until it becomes too dark to paint properly. The sound of an alarm pulls me out of a fitful slumber into the unpleasant state of wakefulness. Did I skip something? Okay. I linger under the blanket for a few minutes, gathering energy to rise up while making excuses for why I already haven't. Honestly, I wouldn't mind staying here for all day. School's surprisingly exhausting after a long pause, and the culture shock still has not faded, I think. Still, despite getting an impression that skipping class isn't easy here, I don't think they are going to let me get away with that easily. And the nurse is bound to keep breathing down my neck with the talk of exercising well. Remember to bring your battery! That was echoing in the left side of his mind. So eventually I do rise, swallow the morning medication, and put on my old soccer clothing. Thanks to my condition, I was exempted from taking part in gym classes at Yamaku, so I didn't get issued with a gym outfit. I'd order some to cover such a contingency, but wearing my old soccer clothes is kind of nostalgic. What a time! I'm using it sparingly now. well, I didn't have to do some crazy voices, so it's not too big of a deal. I can't use them for that anymore, so maybe they... Sorry, still water left in there. So maybe they can get a new life this way, a bit like me. After all, if I'm going to start taking care of myself, I can't afford to slack around. I'll start from the basics. Basics, which includes keeping the rest of my body in shape, along with what little I can do to strengthen my heart. Maybe then I can go back to something approaching a normal life, or at least something where I'm less likely to fall over dead in